when we go to make big changes, if you don't see big results, we get demotivated. So if you make small changes and you see small results, then you're going to keep going. And like that's a consistent thing in pretty much all of the literature around performance enhancement and self-care.
Yeah.
And just doing it repeatedly over time, making those little adjustments, it makes a huge difference.
All right. Welcome to Brobots. This is the podcast that tries to help you be a better human by being smarter about the way you use your technology. And that's exactly what I've actually been doing for the last month or so. As of a few weeks ago, I was in a bit of a rough patch, several months of not really taking care of myself, ignoring a lot of the things that I know that work for me to keep the voices in my head from taking over and keeping me, accountable for the person I say I want to be. And, things got dark. Things got pretty heavy in my head. And I got desperate and turned to AI to try to start sorting things out. As part of that started, Jason, by your recommendation. I've been wearing an Apple Watch for a long ass time, wearing an Oura ring for years, all these tracking mechanisms that I would sort of look at, see the vague numbers that they would come up with that weren't super specific and didn't really offer a ton of guidance in terms of what to do with that number. And so, I could wake up and go, oh, look, I slept pretty well. Still feel like shit, but slept pretty well. Or, slept like shit. Feel all right. That's weird. Oh, well, on with my day. But you recommended, actually, I ran into a battery problem. Like the Oura basically died. The Apple Watch, like you need to charge it every single day. So you can't really consistently monitor. So I turned to you, Jason, and said, the hell? And you recommended this little Garmin device that I've now been wearing for almost a month. And the data is incredible. There's a lot of advice pulled from the numbers that kind of helps guide my decisions and what I'm supposed to do. And I've also been using it to feed AI and tell it like here's what this last week has been like. Here's where things were. Here's where I'm trying to go. Help me get there. So I wanted to just sort of share that experience because I'm by no means healed, but progress is being made. It's only been a month, and just by changing some of the tracking mechanisms and the things that I'm doing to keep myself accountable has been really helpful. And so I wanted to sort of open this up to share my experience with you in hopes that maybe doing something similar does the same for you. So Jason, I wanted to just share some early numbers. When I first started doing this a little over a month ago, my heart rate variability, the amount of time between heartbeats, was around 24 milliseconds, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the last month, by making the changes that I've made based on what the watch tells me every day, I've seen it climb to 32.
Oh wow,
so
that's actually like in the decent range.
It's like, hey, you're kind of normal now. We could be better, but kind of normal, which is really exciting because that is an important number. I don't know, you've been tracking this stuff a long time. That's an important number. Why is that number important?
Mm-hmm. So typically, when you're talking about the beats, the distance and time between the beats of your heartbeat, it has to do with the steady nature by which your nervous system is reacting. So the fewer amount of variability, for lack of a better term, suggests that your autonomic nervous system is not taking time to adjust. Like it's in engine mode.
Mm-hmm.
Go, 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 go. And it's treating it that way primarily because most people get in that state because they've either got stress or they've got physiological conditions that are making it difficult for them, physiological stress or psychological stress.
Yeah.
Once you get those things lowered down and you get better sleep and you start feeling better and you get more exercise, those numbers start to get better. And HRV is huge because low HRV is a really good sign that you are stressed the fuck out.
What's weird about that is, I don't know, you know me, we've been friends for decades. I've never considered myself a very stressed out person. Like I definitely am an emotional person. Like things will happen and I will get angry. I do have a bit of a short temper when it comes to just like stupid shit that annoys me. But I never considered myself someone who's walking around carrying a lot of stress. And that's another thing that this watch tracks is what your daily stress levels are like. And you can see it on a graph. Like this is what it was. You can look back at your day and go, okay, yeah, I was at work, so it's a little stressful, or I was arguing with somebody, that's why that got stressful. But the amount of just sort of spike and stay and, live in that zone all day, I was shocked at how much the watch anyways tells me that I carry stress pretty much all day, every day.
Yes.
And not only that, but the other thing that I really love that I'm like obsessively hooked on because it's a new toy, but the body battery in the
Yeah.
watch. I love this thing because it's similar to the Oura ring where it gives you sort of a
Hmm.
readiness score. But I like that throughout the day, it's tracking like, here's how much of your battery is left for the day. And it was just crazy because there would be days that I'm like, okay, my battery started low. I better rest a lot today.
Yeah.
But I would still just watch the number drop rapidly. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, that's just stress. Like I'm laying on my
Stress.
ass. I'm not doing
Yep.
anything, but I'm just, even in laying here doing nothing, I'm so stressed out that my battery is just being depleted
Yeah.
rapidly.
Yeah.
Uh, and in contrast, I would do things like go for like a nice long walk or try to like get moving. And I would be shocked at how little the battery would drain. Or just be like, but I just did a thing. I would think my battery would be more exhausted, but it just shows me how much the stress is just taking a toll on my body versus
Hmm.
the physical stress that I would choose to put myself through to try to take better care of myself.
Well, here's the reality: is psychological stress is physical stress.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that people don't realize is that your body is, and your mind, who you are in the same fucking meat coated skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just who you are. And the same chemicals that you use to go through and motivate yourself to wake up in the morning, go and do something nice for somebody, get stressed out and get angry, are the same chemicals that you're going to use to motivate yourself to go pick up something heavy or go for a long run or go drink a beer. Like it's all connected. And because it's all connected, the amount of pressure and stress that people get under has a huge deleterious effect on an individual's ability to be able to regulate their own physiology. And it's this inability to regulate your own physiology, be it based on stress, that actually that's actually the biggest threat to a human being these days. Because
Mm-hmm.
we don't have saber-toothed tigers chasing us. We don't have bears chasing us. I mean, I guess there are some exceptions in some places.
In my neighborhood, you do.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. But the point is that like it's not a constant daily threat, right? Like
Right.
the chances of you running into something that's going to be a life and death situation on, even once a year is pretty fucking low.
Yeah.
And your body has a system that is designed to stress it, to push it up and pull it back down and move those things around because it actually does exercise your physiology.
Mm-hmm.
And your brain is set up to see patterns and alerts and understand these things and to look for threat and danger. And when you don't see threat and danger, a lot of the times your brain just starts making shit up and it turns those things into stress. Because it's like, I know something bad is coming, but I can't identify it,
Mm-hmm.
which happens all the time because that's what human beings are.
Yeah.
And you brought up something really interesting around looking at the way it tracks your battery, like the battery for, because the body battery measurement on that, it's not terrible, but I mean, it's basically a corollary of your sleep information and then your stress output throughout the day.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, like you can actually see when you go and exercise, you can see your stress spike when you exercise. Like
Yeah.
it definitely does that because it's
Yep.
tracking your physiological responses. What you don't see a lot of time though is that when you exercise really, really hard and you're stressed out, it doesn't come back down.
Mm.
And that is one of the biggest problems that people have is they go and they work out like first thing in the morning and they just spike their stress and it never comes back down again.
Right. Because they go
So-
straight to work and like
'Cause
stay
they go
in
straight
a
to work.
stressful state.
Stressed out state. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing, you have to balance these things. You have to figure out a way to have recovery. You have to figure out a way to not let things make you worried.
Yeah.
And it's way fucking easier said than done. But yeah, the tool does a decent job of telling you what's going on.
Yeah. Another number that I thought was interesting was my resting heart rate. When I started
Mhm.
again, roughly a month ago, it was around 70 beats per minute. Now we're closer to 64. So it's just, so I guess let's jump to the how, right? I've made some changes. What are the changes that are doing this? And the thing is, like, I started like, as someone who has been doing this podcast for several years, that was originally very much a health and wellness, mental health podcast, I have the tools. I know what to do. I've talked to hundreds of people that essentially all said the same thing. And that's kind of where this started. Was I was sitting by the pool with my kids and they're playing and I'm sitting there stressed out and I'm on my computer. And that thought literally occurred to me. It was like, hey, dummy, you know how to fix this. You just need to like start putting the pieces back in place to fix it. And so I
Yeah.
jumped onto my little Claude conversation and said, I'm like wildly burned out in every aspect of my life. I'm carrying way too much stress. I'm exhausted. I don't know how much more I can take. I got to do something. And so it really focused in on the burnout. Like, okay, we gotta like lighten the load. Let's take some things off. So it was really interesting because it wasn't a matter of here's more to do. It was like, let's start taking stuff off your plate. What can you stop doing? And so literally I have a task every day, a reminder to take something off of my list to do that day. So like
Yeah.
every day I've got all these things in it, and I just pick one. I'm like, you know what? I am just not going to do. I'm not going to reschedule it. It's just not going to happen. Done. That problem is solved. It's also like when you first wake up, go outside and just absorb sunlight for 10 minutes. Okay, so I make my coffee and I go sit outside for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, and then one other thing I started doing that is a little bit more extreme, but I go. There's a float tank in my neighborhood, so I go and I float once a week in a saltwater tank for an hour, just hanging out, chilling out. And the sensory deprivation is awesome because it's completely dark. There's no sound. The only sound I hear is whatever sound I make. So that is super relaxing, and that is has been really helpful. And that's really it. Like I just said, I want to start really slow. Like I know that I can do all of the 100 things I used to do every day and like perform in a
Yeah.
more optimal state.
Yep.
I'm not ready to be back at 100. Let's start with 3. And just
Yeah.
those simple little things started opening me up to, well, what if we start tracking what you actually eat every day? What if you walk a little longer? And now, like today, I'm going to go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in months. And when we're done here, I'm going to go to the gym because I'm starting to have the capacity again because I just started chipping away at like, I don't need to do all this other crap. Let it go and find ways to rest and recover.
Yeah. It's small, iterative, repeatable change. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a concept of the 1% rule where if you can make yourself 1% better every day, you're going to be more than 3x as good by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Those are all true. And the thing is that when we go to make big changes, if you don't see big results, we get demotivated. So if you make small changes and you see small results, then you're going to keep going. And like that's a consistent thing in pretty much all of the literature around performance enhancement and self-care. And, it's like people that try to stop smoking cold turkey, the success rate is like super low.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that, wean themselves off, it's a little better.
Yeah.
But it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Like it's difficult to do. And it's the same thing with breaking other habits. Like it's easy to make a small habit if you make it a small habit. If you make it a big habit, that's harder. If you want to do a big habit, break it down into smaller chunks and do smaller pieces.
Yep.
And just doing it repeatedly over time, making those little adjustments, it makes a huge difference. And your sleeping heart rate getting from the 70s into the 60s, that's a huge marker.
Yeah. Yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
Now, I do, in full transparency, not everything has been a huge success. There were some other suggestions that were made that failed immediately or have been rocky. One of them is another one that I know full well that my habit is a bad one, but it's putting the phone away well before bed and not like having it. I use it for a sleep meditation. So it's sitting right next to me every night and I play the thing. So of course I'm tempted to sit there and like, oh, what's on my calendar for tomorrow? What am I going to wake up to? What do I need? Like I kind of prep myself as I'm laying in bed trying to go to sleep. I'm ramping myself up for tomorrow already. So I know that's a bad habit, but I've already said like, I need this app and it's like, okay, cool. Let's not worry about that one. Like if that's what you need right now, keep it. So that's one that I haven't been able to give up yet.
Can I make a suggestion?
You can.
What time do you normally go to bed?
These days, midnight.
Okay. So you should do all of your phone checking and scheduling, planning and all that shit at 10 p.m.
And I do, but I'm also just, it's kind of an obsessive, like, did anybody cancel? What's going to change? Like, it's just, it's the addiction, right? It's the addiction of I need to look at it. That's my excuse.
Yeah. So, stop.
Yeah, I know. And it will get there. But so far,
small incremental changes.
Right.
Do it at 11:45.
Right. Exactly. So those little changes are still
it back.
Another one I mentioned the diet tracking. I've had an app that I paid for most of the year, off and on with it. I'll do well and then I'll give up. I'll get bored of it and stop. So of course, like the new tool that I have now has that built in. So it's a new toy. So I'm excited about it. So I'm using it every
Yeah.
day and doing a really good job. But that has been rocky, right? I would do it for a couple of days and then I'd stop. I would get busy. We'd go somewhere for the day. I'd lose track. And so I in my conversations with Claude was just like, look, I'm gonna, and it was even hesitant to let me do this. It said, I don't know that you want to take that on right now because you're so burned out. Do you really need
Right.
another thing? And I was like, I get it, but I also am going into it going, if I miss a day, if I miss a meal, if I miss a week, whatever. I'm just trying to like do it a little bit to get better at it. So that it's been rocky, but I've been clean for 7 days with my tracking, so I'm proud of that. So that's been pretty good so far. Uh, One other thing that it recommended was building in a full recovery day every week.
Yeah.
I've got 2 kids, I've got a job, I've got rent to pay, I've got dogs. It's really hard for me to say this whole day is going to be a lot of nothing, of just rest, relaxation. So I'm trying to build in time every day, whether it's watching wrestling with my kids for a couple of hours or, sleeping in a little bit later on a Saturday, like slowing down my mornings so that I
Yep.
don't have to rush. Just looking for places where that can go so that it fits my lifestyle. So again, small incremental changes that, it's not about the massive overhaul. It's where can you start to make changes that will stick.
Yeah.
And that's been pretty good so far as well.
Yeah. Like I've tried to keep food journals.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gone more than 4 months. Um, I have found that when I try to do big weight loss changes or big, body composition changes, I just go, I'm going to eat the same fucking thing 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to eat. And then I don't think about it.
Yep.
Because I don't want to have to go through and track and do calorie and nutrition profiles. Like there's 1,000 of them out there. I've built an app for it. I have another one called Approve that, takes data from these kinds of things, lets you put your dietary information in. It gives you all kinds of insights. And I don't use it often enough. And I fucking made it,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's other people that use it. I mean, and they use it consistently, and it's nice because it actually has more of the data points that are in there. But this just goes down to the idea that anything where it's going to require you to go through and have a human do lots of interaction and input, shit falls out. I mean, we even went so far as to go through it and say, make it an Alexa skill so that you could just tell Alexa what you ate and it would automatically put it into the app, which we're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then we started dealing with all the problems around, not being able to give it enough context information to understand what a McDonald's Happy Meal or number 6 was.
Right.
And it's like, oh shit, I ate like trash and I need to tell it. And like, it's cool because when we did it for a long period of time, we could track it and you can see your stress spikes and you can see when you sleep bad. Like alcohol is a great one, and continuous glucose monitors are a great example of this kind of falling into place also using these kinds of tools. But the idea is that if you've got a continual way to give you biofeedback and give you information on something, then you can see the effect of your small incremental changes.
Yep.
If you don't have a way to give you biofeedback, you're not going to see shit.
Yeah.
And you're going to get discouraged and you're going to stop doing it. Like, fucking whatever. Because that's human nature.
And that's been the thing that, like, the underlying thing to all of this that I haven't talked about yet is that it was a Wednesday afternoon when I started this. And I basically set a reminder every Wednesday, revisit that conversation in Claude, update it with screenshots that Garmin has captured of, all of the data, dump it in there and go, how am I doing? Like just real dumb guy. Hey doc, how am I doing? And week after week, it was like, wow, good progress on HRV. Your sleep is getting better. Stress is coming down. This needs some work. How is it going with the sunlight? How's it going with food? It would keep me accountable for the things I said, I'm going to try this. And I would just be honest and go, yeah, I shit the bed on that one. Like, let's start it again this week and see how it goes. And it would go, okay, cool. I'll ask you next week. So it really has been an amazing accountability partner to just keep this thread that has all of what I'm trying to do in a single place, as though it's a health coach or a doctor that I get to talk to for free every week and say, what do I need to do next? Or what should I change here? And that's been massive. And also, like, again, there's some danger in this with talking to these things, but I would also share with it, there was one week in particular in this process where life got in the way. Like I started doing some EMDR with my therapist,
Mhm.
and that week was particularly heavy and like
Yeah.
emotionally very draining. And like I did not expect the impact that it had to have on me. My wife got sick, so suddenly I was carrying the burden of making sure the kids are fed and off to the places and all the things. I had a family member with a health scare. Like there's some pretty stressful stuff over the course of 1 week. And so when I checked in, I said, "Hey, yeah, I really fell off in this area, this area, this area. But here's some context." And it was like, "Fuck, dude, that's a lot."
Yeah.
And the crazy, this is maybe the part that surprised me the most is that like it didn't come back with here's how to fix it, here's what's wrong, it just went, "Wow, that's a lot. I'm sorry you had a hard time." And I was
Yeah.
like, this fucking robot just had more empathy for me than most people that I would
Then
share this with.
you have for
Yeah,
yourself.
than that I have for myself. Absolutely.
Yes.
But I got emotional and like started crying because I was like, all I needed was for someone to acknowledge that, yeah, this is hard. I don't need you to fix it. I don't need a plan. I don't need a correction. I just somebody, just another voice going, fuck, man, that sucks. Let's get after it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I
I,
did. I was like, that's great. What an amazing tool that we have at our disposal.
yeah. I 100% agree. I mean, that's there's so much potential for goodness in it.
Yeah.
We just have to eliminate the people using it for bad, which would probably make it not cost viable because it'd be like 80% of the population. So I mean, it's just there are so many neat insights you can pull out of AI when you start looking at these large data sets. And you're giving it small sample data sets and it's using it to compare it against other big data sets that are out there, which is useful and helpful and it's great for personalized care. And when you start talking about these as large data sets and programming them and putting them in and trying to understand them, we get smarter and better over time. And this is a collective process where everyone benefits from the input of these data sets. The downside is, you don't really want an insurance company getting a hold of that shit. So you got to kind of walk a line. And being in Canada, you've got, options that are probably better than here in the US.
Sure.
But it's also the way the AI can look at these problems and see them and state them back to you in a way that feels very humanistic and very compelling. It's admirable. Like I, when it says things to me that are more compassionate than my therapist can say to me, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it being honest and truthful? I mean, maybe not, but sometimes you need a fucking teddy bear to cuddle.
And that's where it has excelled, right? It's been
Yeah.
great at kissing ass since the day
Yep.
that it was launched. And sometimes that's not the worst thing ever.
No. I mean, we deal a lot with tough love and brutal honesty, and sure, but people need fucking hugs, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it
Absolutely.
comes down to.
So this is just a snapshot of the last month or so of my life. By no means am I better. I mean, I guess better is the right word. I'm
You're
not
incrementally better.
incrementally better, but there's a long road to get back to feeling the way that I know I can feel and have felt at for short stints in my life. And I'm gonna just keep doing this and look for ways to add and subtract the things that fill my days to try to help me feel less the way I did a month ago and more the way that I'm starting to feel now.
And can
All
I
of
make
this,
one bit of advice?
please, yes.
Don't put an end target. There's not a state at which you're done doing this. There's just not. You're going to keep doing this for all the rest of your days. And there's no goalpost. There's no target at the end. You will have times where you'll succeed. You'll have times that you'll fail. You'll move forward. You'll move backwards. And that's okay. If the goal is to get better over time, get better over time.
Yeah.
And don't feel like you have to rush and don't feel like you have to get to a specific target and don't feel like there's going to be some end target that's going to solve all this shit. Because there's not. There's always going to be some more stuff that comes towards us.
But my hyper traumatized fight or flight state that I constantly live in says, "Go now, do faster, do it more." So
And this is one of those things that you should
trying to
work
turn that down.
Yeah. What also helps, you can wear your Garmin while you lift weights as opposed to your Oura ring. So you can actually
That's true.
track
That
all
is very
exercise
true.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. But you've added more tools to the arsenal and just keep using them.
absolutely. That's my experience. I imagine if you're listening to a podcast like this, you have done something similar. I would love to hear if you've done something similar. What has your experience been? What's worked for you? Where have you failed? You can comment on this podcast on our website, brobots.me. You can message us, respond to any of our social media posts, or email us info@brobots.me. And I'd love to just hear what other people have done and where they've found success and failure. So please do so. And in the meantime, we'll get to work on another episode and be back Monday morning at brobots.me with a brand new episode. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.